Hello there, hi, it's Adil, not Mr. Intermarket, but basically I'm bringing you a review of the Euro USD from an intermarket analysis perspective, just trying to front run exactly what's going to happen in the next few hours, and the impact it'll have on the currency market, the bond market, commodities, etc. So let's see if we can try and fathom as to which way Mr. Draghi will go. Hopefully we'll see some clues from an intermarket analysis perspective, and we'll try and break this down. Okay, so first of all, this video is based on the Euro USD. Okay, so let's start with the Euro USD first of all. Okay, so with regards to policymakers, as we all know, for the last 2 weeks now, it's been very frustrating for me, especially from a trading perspective, trying to break down exactly where this market's going to go, which direction this market wants to go. It's been a nightmare. Last week, I only made minus 40 last week, and this week I'm plus 5 points all week. This is coming from somebody who makes around 200 points on average a week, so it's very frustrating. Why? Because nobody wants to short the market, because obviously they want to be squeezed or caught out with a short squeeze based on fear of a central bank intervention, i.e. the ECB. Okay, you have tapering fears, you have fears of the BOJ now. Obviously, no more stimulus from the BOJ, no more stimulus from the US. Okay, and then basically it's the ECB now left. They've been passed the baton. So when one central bank finishes, generally speaking, they coordinate, so another central bank takes over and make sure that stock markets remain afloat. Okay, so obviously the euro now has become like the QE currency, or the carry trade in a sense. Obviously, historically, it was a US dollar, with QE1, QE2, QE3, then obviously the Japanese yen. Obviously, that's not the case no more. Well, it is to a certain extent, because UJ and EJ still are dictating terms, but not as potent as before. Okay, so now it's more about the euro. So it's QE or no QE with regards to the euro. Even negative deposit rates will still obviously keep the keep the euro down, and that should certainly keep the equity markets higher as well. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen with regards to Euro USD, and obviously all the potential moves or outcomes that we can see or foresee prior to Mr. Draghi's, or should I say Mr. Bean's press conference. I like to call him Mr. Bean. He reminds me of Mr. Bean. Okay, so on a weekly chart at the moment, the Euro USD, just from a technical perspective, let's forget about everything else, certainly doesn't look healthy. Okay, certainly doesn't look healthy. Obviously this bull flag here failed. Ever since this bull flag here failed, and obviously the markets have been going down ever since. The next level of potential support on the weekly chart is around the 1.34, 1.35 level. Then obviously you've got the 200 MA just below. So that's based on the weekly chart. So if we go to work off just purely based on weeklies, then you're looking at around the 1.33 and the 1.34 level as potential downside targets after the failed bull flag. That's on the weekly chart. Now let's look at the daily chart. Daily chart at the moment, obviously we are hovering below the 200 MA. We're consolidating here. We've broken this key channel, and certainly looks as if we want to potentially go low. So if you do break lower here, the next potential support, keys level of support, is going to be around the 1.35, which again coincides with the weekly chart. Okay, the 4-hour chart. Let's just observe the 4-hour chart, folks. Okay, 4-hour chart at the moment. Okay, the market is no longer making lower lows or lower highs, so that's something that you certainly need to pay attention to. It's certainly building some type of base, so whether that means that the markets or people have inside information of no QE and just negative deposit rates, given the fact that negative deposit rates have certainly been factored in, especially given the fact that the euro's obviously fallen from 1.4 all the way down to 1.36, so and given the fact that every Tom, Dick and Harry wants to short this right now, or probably is short the euro right now, given the fact that the trade's overcrowded. Okay, so more than likely a potential short squeeze higher to knock out all the amateur shorts, and then obviously then it may well go in the original direction. So just keep an eye on that. You've got downward sloping wedge formation. We could certainly break out here to around the 1.375 level, which is a 200 MA. So that's certainly a probability. Okay, on the expectations, or well, not expectations, given the fact that Mr. Draghi does not do a QE. Everybody obviously is disappointed. They cover their shorts obviously because they're expecting 1.35, 1.34 and lower, and that obviously is not the case. Okay, so Kathy Leon, by the way, has a very good fundamental perspective on the euro, so it's certainly worth reading if you get some time. Certainly worth reading. Kathy Leon at forex.com, I think it is, or is it bkforex.com? That's correct. So that's basically another potential outcome as well. So keep an eye on this Euro USD. Okay, given the fact also as well, any potential euro pop will be mitigated or will be reduced by the fact that the US data was, well, the Fed's beige book was strong yesterday, although ADP was weaker yesterday. So just bear that in mind as well. So 4-hour chart potential pop here. So keep an eye out for that. Okay, folks. So 60-minute chart, again, like I said, we're building a potential base here. We seem to be popping and short covering, and obviously can't really make too much out of it at the moment, given the fact that you got a lot of nerves flying around with regards to the ECB, or alternatively people have inside information and are front running that in advance. Okay, so 10 minutes again. We seem to have made a base, high highs and higher lows so far. We'll see exactly what happens with regards to the press statement. Okay, the German data was quite strong this morning, so obviously that's helped the euro and Eurozone data hasn't been as bad as everybody expected. So again, we'll see. Okay, we'll see. So again, that's the euro. Okay, so that's the euro USD. Obviously that's versus the dollar, so dollar obviously tapering, etc. So that's certainly another factor you need to take into account, the US dollar side of things. Let's observe the euro versus other currency pairs and see what the strength is there. So let's have a look at the euro GBP. That's a currency pair that I always observe. Okay, so euro GBP certainly isn't looking good right now, mainly because of the BOE, possibly. That's certainly a factor. Okay, so daily chart right now for the euro GBP is definitely bearish. Weekly chart, obviously, you can see is bearish. Certainly not looking good here. Let me just delete all this. This is part of the mentoring notes. So certainly lower lows and lower highs. So I can't see any potential base other than this inverted head and shoulders formation that was triggered not so long ago, and obviously we've broken below that as well. So just something that we need to keep an eye out for. Go back to our daily chart now. Okay, and certainly at present lower lows, lower highs, innocent until proven guilty. So I can't see any signs of bullishness there for the euro. So okay, so here's something. Okay, so this is quite interesting. So obviously you've got a potential inverted head and shoulders formation. So this is something that certainly needs to be kept an eye out for. Okay, so you've got your left shoulder here. Okay, and then we've created the head. Provided we hold the right shoulder, again that supports the thesis that we are going to go higher. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. Okay, so given the fact that we hold a 75% on the right shoulder, everything's looking good so far. We're holding a 61% on a technical basis. So what is that telling you? It means that the euro certainly looks like it potentially may go higher. That's on the basis that sterling goes lower because of Mr. Carney's promise of lower rates. So we'll see exactly what happens with the ECB. Again, that's another wild card. But just bear that potential formation in your mind. Now, with regards to the 60-minute chart, as you can see here, we're holding previous resistance equals support, a bottoming tail there, the 60-minute chart. So it certainly seems like the either the euro is catching a bid or the sterling is obviously getting hammered right now. So 10-minute chart, bottoming tail again. So I think that certainly is a bottoming for the euro there. So watch out for euro strength. That's going to be quite interesting. Okay, and going forward, potential there for a bottom in the euro. Okay, so again, overall, on the larger time frames, I can't really see anything at all. On the smaller time frames, 4 hours, 60 and 10 minutes, there's certainly a case here for euro strength. But again, that's debatable. Is it euro strength or is it sterling weakness? Given obviously BOE comes first. So again, nothing really clear there, but certainly euro strength. Certainly euro strength. Okay, let's have a look at the euro JPY. Okay, euro JPY. Let's go to a weekly chart first. Observe it on a weekly basis, and let's see what was happening here. Weekly basis at the moment. Certainly, obviously, making lower highs, so it's certainly not looking good on a weekly basis. It's not a healthy sign. Then we'll look at a daily chart. Again, making lower highs. Okay, potential here for a H&S formation reverse on the lower side. Having said that, it's holding the 200 MA, so that's something that we'll respect for now. And potential support around this region here. Again, we'll see. Nothing really clear here, given the fact that it's made lower highs. It's held at 200 MA on the daily chart, so certainly the bulls are in control temporarily for now. And given the fact that the Japanese Nikkei was higher overnight as well. Okay, 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, double bottom is in. We're looking for a higher low. Higher low seems to be putting in here. Higher highs, higher lows, double bottoms in. We're looking for a higher low, and bang, off we go to the races. So again, certainly an argument there in the smaller time frames for the euro to go higher. Okay, so again, if it's going higher against the Japanese yen, then it certainly will go higher versus the dollar. Okay, so let's have a look at the 60-minute chart. 60-minute chart doesn't bode well. That's not a very very bullish pattern on a 60-minute chart right now. Certainly it looks as if it wants to go lower to this region here, so that's something to certainly keep an eye out for. Especially with regards to the Nikkei being higher overnight, you'd expect a bullish pattern there, so certainly some conflicting signs. 10-minute at the moment certainly seems to have made a base. It's making a base around this region here. We're in a symmetrical wedge type pattern, so either we break out on the upside or we break down. So again, I'm going to reserve my judgment here, to be honest with you, with regards to Euro JPY. I like to be inclined towards a bullish side. Why? Because of the fact that the Nikkei was higher overnight, and obviously German data was stronger overnight as well. So there's two factors why I like to be inclined towards the bull side. But again, there's no real clear sign. Okay, no real clear sign here at all. I can't really gauge anything from this, to be honest with you. My inclination is towards the bullish side because of the 4-hour chart having put in a base and the daily chart obviously holding a 200 MA. So, and obviously the 10 minutes at the moment certainly seems to be making a base and look like it wants to go higher. So again, a wild card. Okay, wild card. Like I said, my inclination is higher due to the fact that the Japanese Nikkei was higher overnight. Okay, so that's basically my inclination with regards to that. So let's have a look at the Euro CHF now, because the next pair that, we have the Euro USD, then we have the Euro CHF, we have the Euro JPY. They're generally the two fair gauges really after the dollar. So if the Euro can do well against the CHF and do well against the Japanese yen, then it certainly looks like it will do good against the dollar. So if it's stronger against them, it's stronger against the rest. So that's based on intermarket analysis. So Euro CHF certainly is in a potential uptrend here. Nice uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. Okay, seems to be making some form of inverted head and shoulders type pattern here. Watch out for this pattern. Okay, there's your pattern there. Right shoulders going in, and bang, off we go to the races. So, and also on the larger time frames, you can look at the inverted head and shoulders there. There's your left shoulder, there's your head, and then obviously we're creating the right shoulder, and off we go to the races. So daily chart, Euro CHF certainly looks bullish from my perspective. Let's have a look at smaller time frames now. Smaller time frames at the moment, 4-hour chart really is into support. Obviously we're creating a doji there on the 4-hour chart, so nothing really there. '60-minute chart, it certainly looks bearish, but we certainly are into potential horizontal support. Okay, let's have a look at the rest. 10-minute chart right now, we're into this potential base-like formation, and there we go. Okay, so yep, so we're into a downward sloping wedge formation. We'll see exactly whether this can break out. This is going to be interesting. So again, a conundrum, other than the fact that the Euro CHF and the daily chart certainly remains bullish, given the fact that Euro JPY has held the 200 MA potential bullish, Euro GBP potential into support. So certainly open to multiple interpretation there. Okay, so nothing real conviction. Overall, so far, my inclination is going towards the long side, given the fact that Mr. Draghi will not do QE, and obviously that will disappoint the market and potentially create a short squeeze. That's certainly a scenario, but again, it's a wild card. Whatever Mr. Draghi does, we know. So maybe the cut in interest rates or negative deposit rate, maybe that will be sufficient enough as well. Okay, maybe that will be sufficient enough to keep the euro depressed and keep European equities afloat. again, that's open to multiple interpretations. So at the end of the day, we can do our analysis and be prepared, like I've done with regards to several currency pairs. Okay, and not only that, you should always look at the US dollar as well. Now, if I bring up a chart, the UUP, which is a US dollar index, okay, and the US dollar index will give you the positioning of the dollar going into Mr. Draghi's announcement. Now, the UUP in the daily, and this is quite interesting, is almost near its 200 MA. So given the fact that it's almost near its 200 MA, and obviously it's closed this gap here, it's potentially into resistance. If it's into resistance, then that means that the dollar will fall. If the dollar falls, then that means the euro will rise. Okay, so we do need to hit the 200 MA. So I do expect a spike higher here initially into the 200 MA, and then eventually the dollar will obviously rally initially. Maybe when they announce negative deposit rates and sterilization, etc., etc., and the market gets excited about potential QE down the road, or maybe Draghi does the sterilization, the negative deposit rates, and leaves the door open. For QE down the road. Okay, so again, there's so many different ways in which the market can move, and we have to be like an individual playing chess. We need to observe and adhere and understand all the potential scenarios and outcomes, and then as soon as the information hits the market, then we must react accordingly. So observe Euro GBP, Euro JPY, Euro CHF, Euro USD. Okay, you can also observe Euro CAD. That's another one currency pair that you can always observe, and that generally tends to give you direction as well. But having said that, the CAD economic data out of the CAD yesterday was well, the central bank has now turned dovish, so the CAD is distorted as well to a certain degree. So again, that poses a challenge as well. What happens with regards to the Euro CAD? Can we actually trust that as a potential signal? Now the Euro GBP, can we trust that as a signal given the fact that the BOE is going to adjust? So I have to wait for the BOE, and then obviously then I can react accordingly. So there's a lot of variables at play here. But my gut instinct here, given the fact that the UUP hasn't hit the 200 MA, so I expect a potential. Initially, I expect the sell-off to occur. So I expect the dollar to rise, okay, Euro USD to fall, and then a powerful reversal on the Euro USD higher. That's my game plan. So I expect the 200 MA to be hit on the UUP. So the dollar obviously goes into, given the fact that the economic data beige book itself was quite strong, so the Euro USD falls, and then a powerful reversal higher once Mr. Draghi confirms that there isn't, and there is no QE. That then potentially initially will cause the Euro USD to fall, European equities to rise, and then boom, a powerful reversal. Okay, Euro USD rally, equities sell off. That's basically my game plan based on my intermarket alternative analysis of intermarket analysis, not just obviously based on this information that I've shared with you now, based on equities, etc., etc. So initially European equities pop, rally, euro falls, then full circle. Okay, that's my game plan. Full circle, Euro USD then starts to rally, European equities feel the pinch, that Kool-Aid effect is no longer obviously applicable, and full circle. Okay, full U-turn, European equities sell off, Euro rallies. That's basically how I'm looking at it at present. Okay folks, so risk on, risk off, wax on, wax off. Goodbye now.